Okay, so we are right at 5:30. I don't see anybody else connecting to audio. So I think in the interest of time, we will just jump right in. Thank you all so much for being here on the first week of classes. I hope things are going well for you all. So this is the AHEC Scholars in Mobile Health Training Program orientation. And Emma and I are going to give you a full rundown of both of those programs and be able to answer any questions that you might have for being a part of the program. But before we dive in, brief introductions. For those of you I haven't met, Mandy Hedstrom, and I work at the Montana Office of Rural Health and Area Health Education Center. And my main job is to oversee the statewide AHEC Scholars Program. And then I'm also the program advisor for all of my Missoula, Kalispell, and Great Falls based nursing students. So if you're on any of those three campuses, you will be working with me a little bit more. Emma, do you want to give a quick introduction too?
Yeah, hi, I'm Emma. I also work with Mandy at the Office of Rural Health and AHEC, and I will be your advisor if you're a Billings or a Bozeman student. I'm the program coordinator for the mobile health training program. So also if you have pretty specific mobile health training program questions, even if Mandy is your advisor, you can reach out to me. So yeah, excited to meet you all and work with you all. It's nice to see all your faces on here. I'm gonna take attendance just to give you hours for being here. So if you haven't already, could you rename yourself to like your full name so I know who you are? So thank you.
Thanks, Emma. Appreciate that. Okay, so this orientation is going to be kind of in two parts. And so the part that I'm going to run through is the AHEC Scholar side, and then Emma will dive into a little bit more on the mobile health training program side of things. But before we dive into AHEC Scholars, I just wanted to kind of dive into what is AHEC, just in case you aren't familiar with us. So AHEC stands for Area Health Education Center. And AHECs were developed nationally by Congress in 1971 with the purpose of training, recruiting, and retaining health professionals who want to work in rural and underserved communities. And that's really the foundation of all of the work that we do here at the Montana AHEC. You can read our full mission there, but everything that we're doing is to enhance access to quality health care for our rural and underserved Montana communities. So this is through various training programs. We also work with like middle school and high school students to try to get them interested in healthcare careers and kind of the full gamut of work. So kind of like I said at the beginning, Emma and I work for the combined AHEC office and Office of Rural Health, and we are both located at MSU. It's a federally grant-funded office that the Mark and Robin Jones College of Nursing actually holds the grant for our office. So we are based at MSU, but we do also have regional AHEC offices sort of scattered across the state as well. So we have one there in Missoula, two in Helena that kind of split that central part of the state into the north and south region. We have a regional office in Billings and one in Miles City. So we really are kind of a statewide operation, all working towards that one main mission there. And then I put all of these logos up because it can be a little bit confusing, but all of these logos are representative of who we are. So this is the national AHEC logo. This is our Montana AHEC specific logo. So you see this often affiliated with some of our regional offices. And then this is our MSU logo, our combined Office of Rural Health and AHEC logo. So I know it can be a little bit confusing. And then I think I forgot to mention this as we kind of go through all of the orientation today. I really want this to be an interactive orientation. So if you have questions as I'm saying something, if it doesn't make sense, pop it in the chat, unmute yourself. We're really here for you guys and to make sure that you leave this evening really having all of your questions answered and having a full understanding of the program that you signed up for. So let's dive into a little bit about AHEC Scholars. So AHEC Scholars is a national certificate program developed by HRSA, which is the Health Resources and Services Administration. And you can see our purpose there really mirrors the purpose of AHEC, which is to prepare and promote a diverse, skilled healthcare workforce that wants to work in rural and underserved communities. So that's again, kind of the foundation of the training for us is that we want students who are enrolled in our program to leave feeling very comfortable and confident in their skills in providing healthcare in rural communities across Montana. And we also take a team-based approach to addressing health disparities. So the AHEC Scholars Program is interdisciplinary. So there are students from more than 20 different academic programs participating in this program alongside of you. So this is going to give you an opportunity to meet students outside of nursing and to kind of, gain some experience in working in that team-based setting. Okay, so here's our core topic areas. These are the things that we focus our education on in AHEC Scholars. So that first one there, interprofessional education, I certainly already touched on that one. And then the other ones here, integrated behavioral health, so integrating that behavioral health care into the primary care setting. Connecting communities and supporting health professionals. This one is actually more about connecting you all and supporting you all and working with paraprofessionals and community health workers who can kind of be that liaison between the healthcare setting and some of the community resources. Virtual learning and telehealth, I feel like it's pretty straightforward in the sort of post COVID-19 world that we live in. The ones on the bottom there, cultural competency, social determinants of health, I think those ones are self-explanatory. And then current and emerging health issues is kind of all encompassing anything that is new that pops up. So right now we're seeing a lot of trends towards like maternal health, aging populations, and those types of things kind of falling into this category. And then the last one, practice transformation, is really just to provide you all with the skill set to be able to transform and adapt into kind of an ever-changing healthcare system. So those are the 8 things that we focus our education on. It's a lot. There's a lot of different ways to kind of take your education in this program, and that's intentional. It's really built and designed for you all to kind of enhance your education in the areas that are really interesting to you and you feel like you most need in order to be best prepared to serve rural communities after graduation. So here is who's enrolled in our Montana AHEC Scholars Program. So we actually have just over 400 students active in our program right now. We actually are one of the largest AHEC Scholars programs in the country, which is pretty fun. And you can see we have a full gamut of disciplines participating from a wide variety of colleges and universities across Montana. So some of the private institutions, our friends over there at UM, some community college, tribal colleges, we kind of have a full gamut of participation. And then you can see, like I said, we have over 20 different academic disciplines as well. So this is a really good opportunity for you to be able to connect with those disciplines that you might normally not get to interact with, like athletic training or health administration. We do have one lone dental student who is not enrolled at a dental college in Montana since we don't have any. So it's just a unique opportunity for you guys to make those connections with disciplines outside of nursing. Okay, why AHEC Scholars? So normally this is a part of my recruitment presentation, but I know that you guys joined kind of in a non-traditional way. So in case you don't know why you're here, I want to make sure that you guys understand why you would want to be a part of the AHEC Scholars Program, why it's going to be beneficial for you in the long run. So like I said at the beginning, AHEC Scholars is a national certificate program. So when you graduate and you complete all of your requirements, you will receive a national certificate. If you're just joining its larger cohort of students from across the country who are also participating in AHEC Scholars Program. AHEC also has a partnership with 3RNet, which is a healthcare recruiting platform. I don't know if you all are familiar with it, but there is kind of a partnership there where you can build a profile specifically for AHEC scholars, which can help as you're looking to find a place to work after graduation. So there's some of those kind of long-term perks to being a part of the program. I think one of the big ones that we offer is educational resources. And I'm going to deep dive into this in a little bit and kind of show you everything that we have to offer. But we have a ton of educational opportunities for you all in the AHEC Scholars platform, hours upon hours of content, just to provide you that opportunity to, like I said, enhance your education so that you can feel best prepared to serve these rural and underserved communities after graduation. We also are able to offer discounted and free registrations for a lot of different conferences across the state and across the country as well. So we do travel outside of the state for conferences, and Emma will dive into that a little bit more with mobile health training program too. But I always make a plug here. If you guys see a conference or something that you're interested in attending that you're not able to afford to go to, let Emma and I know, because we have additional funds that we may be able to support you to travel to some of these conferences. So definitely reach out to us if that is something that you run into. Networking and community, I feel like I've touched on this one a lot already, just giving you a chance to interact with students from different backgrounds and different disciplines and different colleges and universities across the state. And we also do monthly seminars for our AHEC scholars too. So once a month, sometimes more than once a month, we hold a seminar on a topic typically recommended by our students, and that gives you that opportunity to at least connect virtually with students from other programs. We're actually hosting one next week, and that one is actually open up to AHEC scholars outside of Montana as well. So we actually have a lot of AHEC scholars from Florida and Idaho already registered for that seminar. So it's even a more unique opportunity to connect with scholars outside of Montana as well. And then the last one there, skill building, just giving you all a chance to develop new skills and strategies to improve the delivery of healthcare and really learn to work effectively in that team-based setting. And this is something that we certainly see, being a good resume builder and something to be able to talk about as you're doing, a job search after graduation. I think I forgot to mention you also get graduation cords. I don't know if that's a perk for many of you, but you do get a unique set of graduation cords to wear at graduation as well. So I know people are stoked on cords too. So okay, so let's dive into what's required of you. What are we asking for in this program? And as I pull this up, I always like to preface this with, don't let this scare you or intimidate you. We are a very flexible program. So we are here to work with you all on these requirements. So we'll make sure you guys have a lot of different options for how you can meet these hours, and just kind of stay in communication with M&I throughout the whole process if this is something that you need support on or ideas on how to get these hours. But kind of here's the skinny. Each year that you're enrolled in the program, and it is a 2-year program, we're going to ask for 40 clinical hours and 40 educational hours. Good news as a nursing student, all of your nursing clinicals will count for your clinical requirements. So there is nothing additional that you need to do there as a nursing student. So yay, check. That one's already going to be taken care of for you. We do ask that you log those hours, and I'll show you how to do that, but just let us know where you're going and when you went there and for how many hours. But that's really all you're going to need to do on the clinical side of things. You will have way more than 40 clinical hours. So on the educational side of things, we do ask for 40 elective educational training hours in the 8 core topic areas. And we're going to kind of deep dive into like where these hours are and how you can get them. But we have a lot of different options, a lot of them self-paced or some 4-credit academic course opportunities for you to reach those 40 hours. So a collective total while you're in the program over 2 years of those 80 educational hours. I do often get a question about, do I have to complete like all 40 in the first year and then 40 in the next year? Or can it kind of be, divvied up differently? We ask that you complete all 80 by the time that you graduate. So if you end up doing a little bit more than 40 in your first year in the program, that's okay. Or if you end up a little bit shy of 40 your first year in the program, that's okay. We're not going to kick you out. We do look at, did you meet the 80 by the time that you graduate? We do ask that you're not just getting all 80 within the first 2 months and then not doing anything in the program. We do want to see you here for 2 years participating actively, but we can be a little bit flexible with when those hours are completed, depending on what works best for you and your schedule. So I already kind of covered the clinical side of things. All of your nursing clinicals are going to count towards this clinical requirement. You just need to log them for us. I do want to make a plug right here, though, as being a part of the mobile health training program, you are going to get the opportunity to go to some rural clinical sites. And I do highly, highly encourage you to consider going to those rural clinical rotations. All of our nursing students that end up doing those rural rotations just rave about their experience in those rural communities. And it's really the best way to see if rural medicine is going to be the best fit for you. But oftentimes they have a better experience there than maybe at some of our larger hospitals. So do consider that. And Emma will cover this, but we do have funds to support your travel costs. So it doesn't have to cost you any extra to do those things. So, okay. Educational hours. So let's dive into this a little bit. There's so many ways to get these required educational hours. So Many of the options are going to be on the online platform system, which is through Canvas. You all should have received an invitation from Canvas. It's like called Instructure, Canvas Instructure. If you haven't received your invitation, please reach out to myself or Emma. Let us know. Do check your spam first. Sometimes it goes to spam, but do make sure that you accept that and get logged into the course. If you wait too long to accept your invitation, it does expire. So if that happens, let us know. We'll resend it to you and so that you can get into the platform. And then just a ton of other opportunities, through the AHEC Scholars Calendar, which is on the platform. And this is going to be just kind of a snapshot of various like live opportunities that are going across Montana and across the country. Emma and I have subscribed to a ton of newsletters, and we kind of condense that into one really digestible format for you all. So I'll show you some of the live opportunities there. And then just a lot of different, outside events and trainings, really anything that you come across that you think might count for hours. Typically, we can work with you to see if those are something that we can make count for your AHEC Scholars hours as well. And then we also send out weekly newsletters. So every Monday, we'll send a newsletter out that just kind of makes all of this a little bit more digestible. We'll say, here's the stuff coming up in the next week, and just any reminders that are important. So if you're not getting those sometimes go to spam too. So check those if you're not getting them on a Monday. Check your spam. Marcus is safe. We will be changing how we send newsletters in the next couple of months, but we'll give you a heads up on that. But for now, check spam, mark us safe, and let Emma and I know if you're not getting them. And then kind of by a popular ask, we did actually create a podcast playlist on Spotify. So I don't know if any of you are podcasters, but this is a really convenient way to get educational hours. There's so many podcasts that we've listed on there for you, and any one of them that you listen to on that playlist would count for your AHEC Scholars hours. We just ask that you track them and then log them in our system, and we will show you how to do that. And then the other option is we do have a handful of academic courses that if you enroll in them as an elective, it can't be a required nursing course, that can blanket cover of 40 educational hours as well. So Emma, if you have a second, if you can put the link to the AHEC Scholars Hub in the chat, there is a spot there that says academic courses, and you can kind of check out which ones would count. And there are things like there's a Tanzania trip that the College of Nursing does. There's a course affiliated with that. That counts for hours. Some of the culturally responsive nursing courses that happen over the summer, those count for hours. So there are some kind of easier, more condensed ways to get those 40 hours as well. Or you can choose the self-paced option and kind of pick and choose, go through all of that educational content that's available to you.
I'll add that we're working on like making a book list as well. So if you have any books that you've read that are, health related, health equity related, you can definitely shoot us an email and see if those will count for hours too.
Yeah, thanks, Emma. That's a good point. Yeah, we are working on getting that book list together. We have a couple of good ones on there already, but yeah, please, if you guys have suggestions for podcasts that you love, books that you love, we do want to make this kind of an easy, good way for you all to get these educational hours in a not an overwhelming way, but that's kind of the hope here. So, okay, so I have switched over to the online platform. Hang on, there is a question in here. Do overseas trips count as clinical or educational hours? Hannah, are you referring to the Tanzania trip? Okay, just international trips in general. That is it. The answer to that question is it depends. So if it is like a nursing course, there is an educational component tied to that. So that's how we can get that to count for educational hours. Now, if you're just doing like a service trip with a different outside organization, typically those are more clinical hours because you're doing hands-on work. But the Tanzania trip in particular, there's educational components tied to it in addition to the clinical work. So if there's something specific, Hannah, that you're doing, I don't know if I'm your advisor, if Emma is, but reach out to one of us and we can kind of help you decipher whether that's going to be educational or clinical or possibly both, depending on the opportunity. Guatemala trip. That's not a course either, I don't believe. Emma, do you know? I think that's just
I
like a
don't.
spring breakaway thing. So that would likely be clinical hours. But if you want to send us an email with information about the trip, we can take a look at it. Yeah. Thanks, Hannah. Okay, so I've moved over to the AHEC Scholars online platform. And so you all, like I said, should have received an invitation for this already. And I just want to give you kind of a quick tutorial here of what this looks like. And so when you log in, this is what it should look like on your end. And you should just have the one course now. And you can click in here, and at the top, you'll see some contact information for Emma and I with the breakdown if you can't remember who advises what. There's a new section here. We just moved over clinical hours to this course, so I'm going to come back to this in a second, but this is where you log your clinical hours. And then here is all of that educational content that I was talking about, broken up by those different core topic areas. So, if you're interested in learning more about social determinants of health, you can just click right on that button there, and it's going to take you to the social determinants of health section here. And then these are going to be all of the opportunities that we have, which is a ton. So I know it can be a little bit overwhelming. But if you're interested in taking this first one here, you can click on that course. And that is going to take you to a little bit of information about it and then where to access it. So you want to access that opportunity, and that will like kick open whether it's a YouTube video or whatever it is. Some of them are actual like courses that you take. I thought I paused that, but I didn't. And then after you take the course, you come back to this same page, you hit next, and then there's going to be, oh man, I've already taken this one, a short evaluation here for you to fill out. This fake student that I'm logged in right now has already taken this one, but I swear it's just like a couple of eval questions. You hit submit, and then it will automatically grade that for you. It will give you, this one was worth 0.75 hours. It'll give that to you automatically. And go back to the home page here, and you can go back and take as many of those courses as you want. And then here is that calendar of events that I was talking about here. I think this view can be a little bit hard to read, so I click on agenda right here, and then that makes it a little bit more easy to read, I think. But if you're interested in taking any of these courses, you just click on it here. So if you were interested in this sexual orientation and gender identity one, this will show you a little bit more information about it, how to register, that sort of thing. And then if you take this webinar, then you're going to submit this activity for hours. So you either can click on this link here, or you can scroll down to this button right here, this submit activities for hours button. And then you just are going to tell us a little bit about the activity that you did, how many hours it was worth, and then hit submit. So again, this is a fake student. Normally you would start with activity 1. This student needs to start with activity 7. Take the quiz. It's not really a quiz, but that's what they have to be called in Canvas. And then here's just the short version of what we need from you. So this is just a brief description, when you did it. If you have a certificate or something to upload, you can do that right here, not required. And then tell us how many hours it was. So maybe it was 1 hour. And then you go ahead and you submit the quiz. The difference between this one and one of the other evaluations is this one for a little while will show that you have a score of 0. That's because Emma and I do have to manually review these and make sure that whatever you are submitting does count for hours. We do ask for a few days for us to grade those and get back to you, but it should notify you in here when something is graded. So let's see what else we have going on in here. Scroll down. There's just a place here. If you do take one of those elective courses, we'll log it here, but Emma and I will send out information at the end of the semester about that. And then here's the link to that podcast playlist as well. Kind of one thing with the playlist, as you're listening, you do need to keep track of those hours yourself and then submit them right here as an activity. My ask would be, if you're listening to multiple podcasts, that you try to keep track of them and then submit them in one chunk, maybe how many you listen to that week or something like that. It is a little bit easier on you and us on the grading side of things if they're kind of, I listened to these 5 podcasts instead of submitting an individual activity for each one. So do try to make your life a little bit easier. You can do that, and it makes it easier for us too.
In
Okay,
terms of,
go
sorry,
ahead, Emma. No,
I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say, just in terms of grading, a question we get a lot is, so when you're in Canvas, if you're looking at your quote unquote grades, sometimes your denominator will go up to like 200, and then people are nervous they have to do like 200 hours now because they only have, 50 out of 200. That's just because if you're submitting those activities for hours, they're always out of 40 because that's the maximum something could be. So don't pay attention to the bottom number, just pay attention to that like numerator that you have 80 or 40 or whatever you're trying to get to that year. So
Yeah, thanks, Emma. So I can show that too. So if you click on grades on your platform, this is going to be able to show you kind of what all you've submitted and what your total hours is. So this is what she's referring to. So this first number here, this student is an overachiever. They've done 241 hours of activities, but you can see it's out of 240 over here. But this number like changes constantly. So if this doesn't say 80, it's not supposed to. You're really just looking at this first number here and you wanting that to be 80, but don't worry about the second number. But this is adding everything up for you, and you can kind of scroll through and see, which things you've taken already. So that grade for that activity we just submitted should show up in here eventually. Yep, you can see it right here. That would show that we've already taken this activity. So it's just kind of a breakdown if you're ever curious as to how many hours you've completed. This is a good place for that. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is your clinical side of things. So if you click on that big button right here, that's going to take you to log your clinical hours. And it's going to take you to a form that looks like this. So kind of some background on when you should be logging these clinical hours. It's really kind of up to you. We ask that you log them at least once a semester, but if it's easier for you to log your hours as you go, of like each week you want to come in here and fill out a log, go ahead and do that. It doesn't matter to us how you want to do that, but we do ask that you fill it out at least once a semester and tell us where you've done those clinical rotations. Hopefully this is a pretty straightforward form for you, but it's going to ask for your email. It needs to be the email that you applied to the program with. And so if you don't know what that is, let us know, but it should be the email that you're getting all of our correspondence to. And then here you're going to type in the clinical site name. So let's say you went to Billings Clinic. I'm doing this one because there's a lot of options. So if you're at like a big clinic like that, click on show all results, because this is going to show all of the options for Billings Clinic. But let's just say you were at basic Billings Clinic. You'll tell me when these hours were completed and how many you did there. On the how many you did, it doesn't have to be exact. You guys are going to get way more than your 40 hours. So just give us your best guess as to how many hours that you were there. If you're coming in here and you're at a clinical site that you can't find in here, so let's just say you were at Bobcat Clinic, you can see, okay, Bobcat Clinic, nothing is showing up here. So then you would go ahead and type other, and it will show other clinical site. And then you can manually add in, I was at Bobcat Clinic, and tell us that it was here in the US, where it was. So maybe it was in Bozeman. And then it should just go ahead and submit after that. So, and it will tell you, here's a basic synopsis of what you just submitted. If you have more clinical hours to log, you can hit yes. If you don't, you can hit no. And then it should go ahead and log those. And you should get a confirmation email too, showing these are the hours that you submitted. So we have just recently changed this clinical log process. And so if something goes wrong, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are still working out some of the kinks with it. And there is nothing in here that will show you how many clinical hours you've logged. And when I will send you pretty regular updates on where you're at with program requirements and things like that. But if you forget what you logged, just reached out to either Emma and I, and we'll get you squared away as to what you've logged and kind of where you're at on that progress. So, okay, that was a ton of stuff. Before I turn it over to Emma, do you guys have any questions on the Canvas platform, any of the AHEC Scholars requirements, or anything like that? Okay, so far so good. All right, Emma, we'll let you take it over.
Okay, so AHEC Scholars is that interdisciplinary and professional program that Mandy was talking about. Mobile health training program is a little more niche, and that's just nursing students, which is why we're having a separate orientation for you all instead of a big one. So here's just an overview of kind of the basics of the mobile health training program. So in addition to completing AHEC Scholars, you all are eligible for funded travel to rural care settings. So from any campus that you're at, if you're traveling to somewhere that's considered rural, which if you're not sure if it is, you can let us know, or there's a great tool called Am I Rural? If you just Google that and type in the place you're going, it'll tell you. But really most places in the state are. Then we can pay for your gas, like mileage, or your lodging, and give you meal per diem for the time that you're doing that for your clinical courses. Additionally, we have mobile clinic opportunities, which we'll talk about a little more in depth on the next slide, but those are more organized by our program and facilitated. Funded participation in some elective courses, which Mandy was talking about. So that includes, there's like a culinary medicine class, and then a culturally responsive care and nursing. Right now, that's sort of in a trial phase. It's not open to all campuses, but we are working on expanding that. We also have mobile simulation opportunities. I'll get into those a little more in depth, but that's something that comes to your campus and you get to go do a simulation. And then potential funded traveling to the Western Institute of Nursing Conference and other opportunities. So as a senior, if you've been active in the program, we can usually take about 30 students to the WIN conference. This year it's in Salt Lake in April. So that's a really good opportunity. Some other conferences that students from Mobile Health Training Program have gotten to go to that are national we have the National AHEC conference last summer. In February, we are going to the National Rural Health Association Policy Institute, which is in DC. So we have 2 students going to that with us. And then also some state conferences. So there's a health equity conference that we went to in August. So definitely just like keep your eyes out. We'll send those things out. And yes, you are enrolled in the mobile health training program as well. Travel is not a requirement. A lot of times, like, it's encouraged and your faculty know that it's happening, have helped organize it. Your clinical instructors will generally set up a lot of your clinicals to be in rural areas or to fit with our mobile clinics. But it's not like if you're super stressed and you have a lot going on that you're going to have to travel somewhere. And then we also have a lot of partners who are like good preceptor partners in communities across the state. So you'll have a lot of opportunity to work with some really awesome preceptors and on interdisciplinary teams. And I would say that that's also a huge benefit of maybe getting out of Bozeman, getting out of Billings to do your clinicals, is that when you're in those smaller clinics, they're really excited to have you there. And you'll really get some more like one-on-one experience with your preceptors. Can you go to the next slide? Okay, thank you. So this is a more in-depth slide on mobile clinics. So when you are a T2, or there's no accelerated students on, but accelerated students in their second semester, you have the opportunity, and a lot of times your clinical instructors will just fully organize this for you, to attend a mobile clinic as part of your pediatric clinicals. Sometimes it can also be as part of your health promotions clinicals. So each campus is assigned a partner tribal nation to complete health screenings at Head Start. So this is sort of just a mutual benefit program that we have. It's really nice to have these tribal partners. So Head Start, which is like early education, 3 to 5-year-olds, they are required to do health screenings as part of their grant funding because it's a federal program in the first 30 days of each school year semester. So they need someone to come do that, to take some of the burden off of their like public health people that they have. And it's an opportunity for you all to go experience a rural tribal healthcare setting. So if you're in Bozeman, your partner nation is Northern Cheyenne. If you're in Billings, it's Crow Nation. And that one's actually in their public school. They don't have a head start right now. If you're in Great Falls or Kalispell, you'll be going to Blackfeet Nation and Missoula's Flathead Nation. So you'll get some information about that sort of at the end of your T1, start of your T2 semester. Before you're going to those clinics, you are required to take Indian Education for All. And actually, even if you don't end up going to one of the clinics, you have to take Indian Education for All before you graduate from Mobile Health Training Program. This is about a 2-hour course that is sent by the Montana Office of Public Instruction. And you can find it on Canvas. And also when I'm sending out, or Mandy is sending out email updates on your requirements, we'll have a link to it there. And then there will be a pre-trip orientation before these mobile clinics. It's usually like maybe an hour, 2 hours the night before you're leaving or a couple of days before you're leaving for the clinic. And that will just kind of get you familiar with the equipment you'll be using, just education on the tribe that you're going to visit. And then those orientations will count towards your AHEC Scholars educational hours, and the clinics count as clinical hours. Hopefully that makes sense. So the other thing that I was talking about was mobile simulations. So this is a bus. You can see up here this MMT bus that travels around the state. And inside they have a whole really cool simulation room set up and like computers in the back that someone can run the simulation. So these happen once per semester at each campus, and they'll come, and each sim is about 1.5 hours. And they kind of make it so that people at all levels of nursing school can attend. So whether you're a T1 or like in your final semester about to graduate, you can get something out of this. These will also count for AHEC Scholars hours, which I will log for you after you attend. So I will help you get set up to attend if you're interested. I'll send out emails when we're getting closer to the dates, and you'll sign up for a time slot. These tend to receive just like really great reviews. Students love them. Beyond it just being fun to do simulation, it's nice to have a simulation experience where your faculty aren't present. You're getting a different perspective. A lot of the people who work at SimMT have like military medic type experience or like emergency medicine paramedic experience. And so it's just a different learning environment. There's no professor there. You don't have to be nervous if you're doing something wrong or if you have questions. So it's just a little different. Here's the dates for spring. Sorry. Okay, so where can you find the mobile health training program specific stuff? So Canvas is for all of AHEC scholars, and there is stuff that you have to do on there. But for specific mobile health training program things, there's the mobile health training program website and D2L. So you all should have been added to a D2L course. Sometimes I miss someone. So if you're not seeing the D2L course, please send me an email and I will get you added to it. And then the website has information on how to apply for reimbursement for your clinical travel, just what the program is, and then a link to the AHEC Scholars Hub as well. So you can find that there. D2L is just announcements. So when we have nursing specific educational opportunities or conferences that are nursing specific, we'll post them on D2L. There's some frequently asked questions. When it's time to register for WIN conference or register for mobile simulation, I will post those in D2L as well. Mandy, do you want to go to the website real quick? Thank you.
Maybe, yeah, it's like spinning.
So to get to the website, you can either go from our Office of Rural Health AHEC page, or you can just Google Mobile Health Training Program MSU, and it will come up. Yeah, thank you for linking that. But you can see that little car symbol there is where you apply for clinical travel reimbursement. And it will take you to this page. So when you're applying for reimbursement before you're going to travel, you should come look at this and look at what you need to keep track of. It's the miles you've traveled, all of your lodging receipts, and then the number of meals that you ate while you were traveling. So after you get back, you'll come and you'll submit, there's a form at the bottom, and you'll submit all of your receipts, where you were, what class it was for, and then the address to mail your check. You'll also have to submit a W-9 form. A link to W-9 was also on that earlier website, so you can just see what this looks like. It's pretty simple to follow, but definitely if you ever have any questions, I know sometimes people haven't filled out W-9s before, so I can also help you with that sort of stuff. Just if you're ever unsure, you can always reach out to me or Mandy. Okay. So that's sort of just a general mobile health training program overview. Do you have anything to add, Mandy?
No, I just didn't know if you were ready for me to move on to the next slide or not. So. Okay, cool.
So this is just an overview of expectations for both mobile health training program and AHEC scholars. So the first is to participate in monthly seminars as your schedule allows. I know that some people have families, some people have jobs, sometimes you just have homework or whatever. So try to put those on your calendar, try to come if you can, but definitely if you're unable to attend, that's okay. And there will be recordings of them that you can always watch later. They do count for educational hours. Continuous progress towards completing your hours. So like we said, roughly 40 hours each year. Definitely, I know we have a couple of T2s who are just starting on here. We definitely aren't expecting you to have 40 hours in May. We are still expecting you to have 80 hours, but it's just that you're working on it, you're engaged. It's not a year from now and you haven't logged any hours. Stay in the program for your required length of time. We really just like want you guys to be in the program, and we try and make the requirements pretty flexible. So if you're nervous about things, if you're struggling with something, if you're unsure on how to meet the hour requirements, just reach out to Mandy and I, and we will try and help you and make sure that you're feeling okay about it. So don't get overwhelmed. Always reach out. You'll get out of it what you put into it. Then meeting just some basic due dates, which are on the next slide. And again, like I was saying, communication. If you can't make a deadline, if you're struggling and you need some ideas on extra ways to complete hours, just reach out. Let us know when you need what you need. And then completing your yearly evaluations and surveys. I know that they can be a little burdensome. I was an AHEC scholar before I started this job. It's annoying, but because we are grant funded, these are like things that we have to report to our funders in order to keep our program. So you completing your evaluation ensures that future nursing students can also have these experiences and funding. And then attending mobile clinics and simulations, again, as your schedule allows. Sometimes you can't, that's okay. But definitely just looking at the calendars, the dates, and kind of keeping those in mind and trying to prioritize them when you can. So here is an overview of the due dates. Again, these are a little flexible, but just so you see, for T1 students, your 40 hours should be due on December 31st of this year, and all of your year 2 requirements will be due around December 1st of 2025, just so we have enough time to send you your cords and all of that before fall graduation. For the T2 students, I can't see the hours that are there, actually, Mandy. So
You can't see that?
I can't. I don't
Oh,
know if other people
can
can.
anybody else see them? I can see them just fine. Well, I could do the due dates for T2. That's so strange. So all of your 40 hours for T2 students would be due August 31st of this year. Again, we can be a little bit flexible if you just joined the program. And then all of your 80 hours would be due about April 15th-ish of 2025, right before you graduate in the spring. So I can't believe you can't see those, Emma.
And then just an overview of resources to reach out to. So you can always reach out to me or Mandy. We're happy to meet pretty much anytime that we are available. And about anything by email, on Zoom, if you're in Bozeman and want to come in person, or by phone. And then there's the AHEC Scholars Hub. That's a really good place to just like start and find links to other things. There's links to Canvas. There's an overview of the program requirements. There's the calendar of events, overview of that due date slide that we just showed you. Then also tutorial videos. So there's some tutorials on how to use Canvas, and that sort of stuff. I think Mandy will show you that.
Yeah, I think I forgot to mention that here in the hub, there's just a lot of great tutorial videos. So if you're in Canvas and you're like, oh man, I can't remember how Mandy said to log my hours, you can come in here and there's probably a video that will show you how to do it. You can always reach out to us, but you know, if you're working on something late at night and want it to be done right away, there are a lot of videos in there for you as well.
And then D2L, again, just for specific announcements, sort of overviews of the more mobile health training program specific opportunities. And then the mobile health training program website for those clinical reimbursement logs. And that stuff's also linked on D2L. So that's it for resources. And then your first to-dos are to accept your invitation to Canvas if you haven't. Check if you got an email. If you didn't, email me or Mandy and we will send you another one. Bookmark the AHEC Scholars page, just so it's easy to get back to it. And then mark your calendars for our upcoming seminar. So that's Tuesday, January 23rd at 5. That will be on practicing inclusive healthcare and empowering patients with disabilities. There's a little QR code to register there if you want to scan it now. Otherwise, information will be on Canvas. You'll get emails about it. Just start working on your educational hours, at least familiarizing yourself with Canvas, getting used to it. And then if you want to mark your calendars for mobile simulation dates, if you're a T2 student, if you want to mark them for those mobile clinic dates, just so you know when they're coming up, but we will also send email reminders about that stuff. Completing Indian education for all. We prefer that that's done within the first 3 months that you're in the program. So I would say in terms of starting to work on your educational hours, you should prioritize that. And then just make sure you're getting the newsletter. It might be going to junk, so Marcus is a safe sender. Like Mandy said, we are kind of switching how we will be sending that in the next couple of months, so you might have to do that again later. But yeah, I think that's it.
And then I just sent the link for the seminar registration in the chat too. So if you're able to join us on Tuesday, we would love to have you then.
And I just want to reiterate that I know this was a lot of information and you might be feeling kind of overwhelmed. It really is a flexible program. It doesn't have to be that much additional work, and Mandy and I are here to help you. So please reach out if you have any questions. This recording will be on the website on Canvas, so you can come back and reference the slides and stuff at any time as well.
Hey, we are gonna take a pause. See, does anybody have any burning questions for us at the moment? Maggie, thank you for being the brave one with your face on the screen. We appreciate you. Okay, well, we were a broken record, so reach out if you need us. Otherwise, we're so happy that you're a part of this program, and we're here to support you all. So never hesitate to reach out, and best of luck, either in your first or second year of semester of nursing school. We're excited that you're here, and let us know how we can support you. Thanks for being here, all.
Okay,
Thank
I do
you.
have one question.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned the summer course that we would possibly be able to take, which sounds phenomenal. Will you be sending out information later on that about how that works and getting signed up with that, or is that just all online and we do it ourselves, etc.?
Yeah, so what campus are you on again? I forgot.
I'm here in Bozeman.
Okay, so Right now, the summer course is mostly for Great Falls students, and then they're working on one with Billings and Bozeman students that I think we're
Okay.
hoping will be starting this summer.
Okay.
Definitely if you're feeling super excited and it's something you want to do, you can shoot me an email, and then I can pass that on to Laura Larson, Dr. Larson. She's the person who kind of organizes that course. We definitely have had students from Bozeman go up with the Great Falls students too, just depending on their enrollment. So
Okay, so it's an in-person course per se?
it is an in-person course and it's like 1 week. So right now we've been working with Blackfeet Nation, and so students go up there for a week and they do some sort of just like cultural, like learning about the community, sort of like traditional medical practices, so some educational components, then also some clinical components at Tribal Health and at IHS. And then the one that they're working on for more like the eastern side of the state is going to be with Crow Nation.
Okay. And for sending that email, should I wait obviously until like later in the term when all that's trying to think about, like March, or when should that all happen?
You can send me an email right now if you want to.
Okay.
It's just if it's in my email, it's easier for me to get it to Dr. Larson. I won't forget about it. So
That's pretty much my thought too. Well, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Other questions from anyone else still hanging on?
Yeah, so logging today's orientation for hours, how do we do that?
Oh, I should have said that, Gabriel. We're gonna log this for you.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. Thank you for asking. Anyone else? Okay, well, we will sign off. Thank you all. Bye,
Thank
Emma.
you both.
Yeah, thank you.